Welcome everyone to Mayhemtainment. I am your host, JD, and my special guest on this episode is the founder, president of Americas Tribune, where I write my sports articles. They're available up on the Facebook page. I share them on the Mayhem Facebook page all the time. AmericasTribune.com. Go check it out. Lots of articles, not just sports, but I handle the sports there. We're going to talk about football in this episode. Dave, we're going to talk about football, the NFL.
Oh, the NFL.
We're not going to waste any time. Check out, share the episode, leave us a comment. If you think that anything that we have to say is wrong or you want to argue with anything we have to say, please leave us comments. Facebook.com/Mayhem Media Inc. And of course, you can find us on YouTube and Rumble. Just search Mayhem Media and you'll be able to find our channels. So the Eagles pulled out a win. They're 9-1. They remain 9-1. 1 point over the Colts. This is not the first time the Eagles have had to pull one out, to fight for one. They're finding a way to win, no doubt. That's half the battle. If you can just find a way to win, even if it's by a point, you get the win. But they beat the Lions by 1 point. We're going to talk about them a little bit later. What are your thoughts on the Eagles and what's going on with them?
I'll tell you what. I think I misunderstood because when you asked me if I wanted to come on this podcast and talk about football, you do realize what just started the other day is the World Cup.
Yeah.
And myself being Hispanic, when you say football, I have my Mexico hat. I've got my Brazil jacket, but it is green. So the Eagles are one of my favorite teams, yes. And
well, that's good.
I did have them picked before last week as going undefeated. I don't know what the heck happened to them last week, not this current week where they lost, where they won, but
when they lost last week
where they lost.
Yeah, then if the Eagles aren't your primary team, then you're a bigger supporter of them than I am. I thought there's no way they're going undefeated. There was no way they were going undefeated.
I love the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. He's
done great this year. I turned me around. He turned me around this year because I was still iffy on Jalen Hurts. Even last year, I'm like, I don't think this is the way we want to go, but he's done an amazing job this year.
Well, they brought over some talent from Tennessee. And he's got that big, huge wide receiver that he throws to.
Yeah, it's about time that Eagles get a good wide receiver. Because we've had some good quarterbacks, but we've never really had a great receiver, unless you count Jerry Rice, and I don't count him.
Well, the funny thing about Jalen Hurts as well, he is right now the number one quarterback for rushing touchdowns. He actually has 8 rushing touchdowns. He leads the league.
8. What was I just saying? A.J. Brown is the name of the wide receiver that we were talking about.
Oh yeah, A.J. Brown. He came over from Tennessee. Man, he was a superstar in Tennessee, and they brought him over here, and I wasn't exactly sure how A.J. Brown would do because it seemed like the Eagles were having trouble last year with Jalen Hurts when they had him out there. He was absolutely phenomenal. He was a fourth quarter phenom last year, and just absolutely lit it up in the fourth quarter. The first 3 quarters, you got nothing out of the dude. And then in the fourth quarter, the coach scrapped the game plan and said, do what you can. And the kid is like a miracle maker when you let him out on the field and just cut him loose.
Yeah, and he's shown amazing progression from last season to this season. He's actually, throwing the ball, staying in the pocket. He's not just looking for the running lane. He's actually going through his progressions and then, getting out if needed. So I think that's great.
I think a lot of that had to do with the progression of the coach as well.
Yeah, you don't want to get me into that though, because I'm still a Doug Peterson fan. So I'm not really happy with the way things went down between Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson, and Jeff Lurie, the owner. Now I'm not a Carson Wentz fan. Don't get me
I
wrong.
was just
I'm
going to
not
say,
a
where's Carson
fan.
Wentz now and where's DP now?
Yeah, I'm not a Carson Wentz fan. I don't believe he was the future either. But I really like Doug Peterson. I liked him as a quarterback when he was quarterback for the Eagles. And I like that he was going to be our head coach. I like that he brought us a Super Bowl. I can't believe we just got rid of him after that. That was
Hey, easy. Patriots fan here.
well, no one cares about the Patriots. You lost Tom Brady. Your empire is over.
Our empire isn't exactly over. We did make it to the playoffs last year, and we're actually slated to make it to the playoffs again this year.
Let me look.
We're actually looking pretty dang good. You do know that we have the #1 defense in the NFL.
No, I didn't know that actually. I thought oh crap, I can't remember who it was now. Oh, the Patriots beat the Jets 10-3. Which is a big win for them because the Jets were really on a roll, and they do have a nice offense there in New York.
The Patriots are #2 in sacks. They have 36 sacks. They're tied for 4th in interceptions with 11. And they've only got 6 fumble recoveries, but they've got 3 touchdowns. One of which I count the defense with the special teams because you're completely different coaching. But for special teams, the special teams just won them a football game last week, or this week, I should say, against the Jets with about 30 seconds left on the clock. And it was a 3-3 game, just defense. The Jets have a great defense, and the Patriots have the absolute best defense in the league. It was a 3-3 game going up to 30 seconds left in the 4th quarter, and the Patriots stopped the Jets. They punted it away, and I want to say it was Jones got the ball, ran up the sideline, and just hightailed it to the end zone. Touchdown, game over.
Yeah, and so that's the only reason it was 10-3 was because of it was a punt return. So neither offense scored a touchdown in that game, and that's something you never see in today's NFL,
right?
Yeah, people are always like, "Oh, it's a boring game. It's a boring game." No, a defensive game. There's no big deep passes. There's no scoring. But
no touchdowns unless you're talking about the Rams.
Yeah. But strong defensive games can still be entertaining, watching them get sacks and continually just stop the offense like that. It can be entertaining if you're a real football fan. I'm a real football fan. I don't mind seeing defensive battles.
We've seen a lot of teams go from worst to first, but I don't think I've ever seen a team win the Super Bowl and then become one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah. Are you talking about the Eagles?
No, I'm talking about the Rams.
Oh, the Rams, yeah. So I was just making an Eagles joke. I like to, pound on my own team sometimes.
Usually,
the Rams. Well, dude, why did they? Let's talk about that for just a second. Why do you think the Rams and the Lions? Why did they trade quarterbacks? Why do you think that happened?
Well, I mean, Jared Goff just wasn't getting it done. I mean,
but is Matthew Stafford getting?
Absolutely. I've been a huge Matthew Stafford fan for a while. The dude did nothing but throw touchdowns in Detroit. The problem is he was in Detroit. Think about the greatest running back in the history of the game, Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders retired early because the management for Detroit never, ever wants to win anything. They don't care about winning. All they care about is just having people come, fill the seats, and making money.
Well, that makes more sense. I mean, I knew that whatever was happening with Detroit was systemic because they've, haven't been good in 3 decades since Barry Sanders.
Man, Detroit has had some of the greatest.
Barely made it to the playoffs then.
Detroit's always had a great team. They don't build off of it. One of the greatest receivers of all time, Calvin Johnson, Megatron.
Yeah, Megatron.
They've got one of the best receivers of all time, one of the best running backs of all time, but they'll never make it to the Super Bowl. Their management is terrible.
I'm trying to find where the Rams' record is. Oh, there it is, 3-7. So that's what I'm saying. Is Stafford? I mean, Stafford's a Ram now. They're 3-7. Is Stafford? I don't know that I understand you're a Stafford fan. I can't say that I get the same. I don't think that I'm a Stafford fan. I don't think he's that good. And I think that after being in Detroit that long, I think that does something to you, whether it's, you want to call it, bad football, mojo, or the culture, whatever. But when you're a Detroit Lion for X number of years, then you're not going to get any better. It doesn't matter if you go to a different team at that point. Too much of Detroit has sunk into yourself, and you're just now bad.
You're putting what's going on with the Rams on Stafford this year, as opposed to the line that was completely decimated, and the fact that they don't have a running back that can even get 2 yards.
Well, then why do they have? I mean, that's not good for Stafford to go from one team where he was getting hammered to another team where, if he's getting hammered, is he getting a lot of sacks in this year too?
Stafford?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's one of the most sacked quarterbacks. It's
probably
him
of all time,
and who's the kid for Arizona? Arizona lets up a monster ton of sacks.
Yeah, I'm totally drawing a blank on his name too. Right this second. I was trying to see if I could find how many times Stafford has been stacked.
Kyler Murray gets
Kyler Murray, yeah,
quite a bit.
Yeah,
but I'll tell you one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch, and it's only recently because the coach threw his playbook away and completely went with a whole new playbook designed to help his quarterback, as opposed to trying to make his quarterback fit into a mold of his playbook. And that's Justin Fields out in Chicago. Justin Fields has been on freaking fire since they just let him loose. And I see him following in the same footsteps as Jalen Hurts. They had Jalen Hurts last year, who was, they threw him out there first 3 quarters. The kid's trying to sit in there and play quarterback. And then by the 4th quarter, when they're losing, all of a sudden they let this kid loose, and he's running up a storm. And when the defense now has to defend against a guy who's faster than just about everybody on the field, you can't just put a spy on him. That spy has to be just as fast.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing now a situation where Justin Fields is starting to see the game better, and they're letting him roll out. They're letting him run. And he just, 2 games ago, broke the record for the most rushing yards for any quarterback in the history of the game.
Wow, really?
Yeah, he had like 152 yards or something like that. And then the very next week, he came back and missed the record by like 4 yards. The dude is a freak.
I'm going to look that up real quick and see if he...
He beat Michael Vick.
For most QB rushing yards in a game. Let's see. So it was the most rushing yards in a game. 173-yard game on the ground.
178.
That's what he broke. That's the record he broke. That's Michael Vick's 173-yard game. He broke it by putting up 178 yards.
Yeah, and the next week he ran for 147.
Wow, that is.
And if you look, the game, not only that, the game where he ran for 178 yards, he threw 3 touchdowns and ran in a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, he's with the Bears. Yeah, well, it's good. I mean, the Bears have needed someone like that for a long time.
Yeah, the Bears, if you look at their quarterback situation, I mean, they've had some pretty good draft spots to try and draft some good QBs, but nothing ever really panned out for those dudes.
No, Rex Grossman and I can't remember the one they had after him, but yeah, just they've badly needed someone who can, do what he's doing though. I mean, that's what Chicago needs, is someone that's gonna literally carry the game, carry the team on his back.
Yeah.
That'll inspire his teammates to
who do they have before too? Didn't they have Kyle Orton for a little while?
Yeah, Kyle Orton. Yep, that's the other one I was trying to think of and I couldn't think of it. Yeah. Let's talk about the Cowboys and the Vikings, because that was disturbing.
Yeah, that game was so exciting that the network that was carrying it shut it off in the third quarter. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that, but I don't know why they do that. I don't know why, because a game that's closer is going to be more competitive. Not necessarily. Everybody enjoys watching a blowout once in a while. Like, should you do that every week for your ratings? Maybe not necessarily, but we want to see it sometimes.
What did they lose? They lost,
especially when it's a game. Especially when it's against Minnesota, who's 8-2. Like the Cowboys are 7-3.
They were
the Vikings
8-1.
No slouch.
They were 8-1 when Dallas destroyed them.
Yeah, so that's worth seeing. Watching an 8-1 team get decimated is worth watching from beginning to end, in my opinion. And the Cowboys just completely destroyed the Vikings. Kirk Cousins did not earn his paycheck this week.
No, and they've been having some issues there too with Dalvin Cook. No, nothing against him. He's been pretty decent for most of the season. But this is a guy who has, for the last couple of years, been one of the best running backs in the league. And this year he's hit that point where he's fallen off a little bit. And he has been getting injured a little bit too. And the guy that they have behind him, Madison. Oh my goodness. I think Madison, and it's a toss up between Madison and Herbert over in Chicago, but I think Madison you could definitely make a case for Madison being the absolute best backup running back in the NFL.
Speaking of
Dalvin
running backs,
Cook,
that's a great segue because I wanted to talk about the Cowboys running backs, and we saw clearly what I think is going to be the new normal going forward. Tony Pollard and Zeke, which I've been saying since last year, give them, I don't know about equal carries, but I was saying use both of them, and then they both had 15 carries in this game. Pollard had 80 yards. Zeke only had 42 yards, and then the 2 touchdowns because they need Zeke. Pollard has a problem running in at the goal line, so they need Zeke at the goal line.
Yeah, well, with Pollard, it's
and he also had 109 yards receiving. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. 109 yards receiving, and he had 2 receiving touchdowns. Pollard.
That's what I was going to say. Pollard's mostly his ability to catch the ball.
Yeah, I think he's a good runner too. I think this game is going to show a shift. I think Pollard becomes more of the feature back. Zeke becomes more of the goal line guy in the short yardage situation. And I think that the Cowboys get rid of Zeke at the earliest convenience. I don't think they're going to pay for him anymore. Not with Pollard doing what he's doing.
Right. But how much of his contract is guaranteed? It's not like they're going to go out and drop him.
No, but it was just like, I think it was 2 seasons ago when he had just renegotiated a new contract, and it was, very lucrative, very big. But I believe there were some bonuses in there, and I can't imagine he's getting anywhere close to any bonus yards.
I'll tell you what, this is why Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches out there. He does not pay people. He says, you know what? You're a product of the system. I can take you and send you over here and do the same thing with the next guy. And he did it for years on the defense. And how many guys have we lost on the defense? And here we are again. We're number 1 defense.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many people we lose. And even all the years that we had Tom Brady. Tom Brady went down, and all of a sudden, Jimmy G came up, and Jimmy G, he showcased Jimmy G. Jimmy G looked like freaking Brady out there.
And crazy. Matt Castle.
Matt Castle, same thing. And Matt Castle is an amazing example because Matt Castle, most people have no idea. Do you know who Matt Castle played for in college?
No, I have no idea.
Matt Castle came out of USC.
Now college football is the one area where I'm not as good, for sure.
Here's the funny thing. Did you know that the Patriots drafted Matt Castle in the 6th round, just like they drafted Brady?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Now, here's the funny thing. Tom Brady, when he played for Michigan, he had some amazing comebacks, and that's what he was. He was the comeback kid. Now, he had a lot of controversy going on there because Michigan brought in some super quarterbacks, and Brady was always slated to be number two behind somebody, just like he was when he came to the Patriots. He was behind Drew Bledsoe. But this is a dude who just believed that when he went out on the field, he could win. Now, that transpired to 20 years, with the Patriots and 6 Super Bowls with us, another Super Bowl with Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But look at most people will give a lot of that credit to Brady, which he deserves. But a lot of that credit has to go to Belichick as well, because Matt Castle, if I said to you that Matt Castle, how many touchdowns do you think Matt Castle threw in college?
Oh, I have no idea.
Zero.
That would probably be why he went in the 6th round then.
Touchdown. Not one. He was the backup quarterback on USC and came out for the draft. And they saw something in him and drafted him in the 6th round. And he became the backup behind Brady.
Yeah.
And when Brady went down, Matt Castle threw 25 touchdowns and brought us into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Did he bring us to the playoffs? I think we had the same record as the Jets that year, and I think the Jets went to the playoffs and we didn't. We had 11 wins.
Yeah.
With Matt Castle, and Brady went down week 1.
Yeah. Yeah, he came in, and I mean that's the Patriots with Jimmy G and Matt Castle. They had Brady had great backups. If he did go down, they had somebody to come in that could carry the load.
And look at this kid we got now. He is last year he was the best rookie quarterback, number 1. Number 1 rookie quarterback. And the kid behind him, when he got hurt, this kid that's behind him, nobody even knew about. He went up the depth chart, and his name is Zappy. And everybody was going absolutely crazy over this dude because every time he came in, he just ignites the team. And everybody was calling it Zappy Hour, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Mac Jones, the quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah, Mac Jones. But I mean, I'm a huge Zappy fan. Zappy, I think Zappy, and as far as talent-wise, sometimes it's not just about talent, but it's about how you elevate the play of the players around you on the field, and that's what Brady was great at.
Absolutely. Joe Gibbs is a good example of a coach who could do that. He won 3 Super Bowls, and if you go back and look at his Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, you're going to be like, who?
Wasn't Mark Rippon one of them?
Yeah, Mark Rippon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who the f is Mark Rippon? You're going to look up, people, if you're watching right now, I guarantee people are going to be like, who the fuck is Mark Rippon? Yeah, go look him up. He was a Super Bowl winning quarterback with the Washington Redskins. He did nothing else, but he won the Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins.
Did you know his nephew plays in the league right now?
No, I didn't know that.
I think his name is Brett Rippon. He actually started a game.
No, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
I want to say he plays for the Broncos.
Yeah, Brett Rippon, yeah, there's some there are some coaches who can just take, it's not about the player. They can put people where, in the right position and pair people with the right people that can make them shine. And that's one of the reasons why I love football, is because it's not just always about an individual player. It's
Absolutely
about the team. It's
Coach,
about the coaches.
It's a 100%. Like, I'm a huge proponent of coach. A coach that creates a system that makes it so that his players thrive. And, you have a Belichick who has a system created, and he doesn't care how good you are. He's not going to tailor his offense or defense around a great player. He's going to look for players that fit into his system. And it's not always about having the best player, but it's the best player that's going to be a situational player. So a third down guy. He's going to look for one of the best third down guys out there. I don't care how you are on first and second down. I need you on third down. And you're only playing on third down.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill Belichick is good at building a team. I mean, it's only taken him 2 years to 3 years to rebuild after losing Tom Brady and the rest of his, the team that was his empire.
What's crazy, did you know, and this hasn't happened since the 90s. Did you know if the season ended today, did you know that all 4 of the AFC East teams would be in the playoffs?
No, I didn't know that. That's interesting. And I'm an NFC East guy, but yeah, the Commanders coming back to 6-5.
The AFC East.
Oh, the AFC East.
Yeah, all 4 of the AFC East teams would be in the playoffs if the season ended today. Every one of them is over 500.
Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. The NFC East is the same way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Commanders who are in last place are 6-5, so they're all over 500 too. So you're right. The East on both
crazy.
The East in both conferences have all 4 of their teams over 500. They're the only divisions that have all 4 teams over 500. They're both the East, the NFC and AFC East. That's crazy.
Man, you think about it, a couple years ago, the Eagles, the Giants, when it was the Redskins or the Washington football team.
Yeah, even the
Cowboys, everybody used to look at those games and be like, man, that is the worst division in the league.
Yeah. Well, the NFC East has always been like that. It's not very often that some teams are good and some teams are bad. They're either all good or all bad, it seems like.
Yeah, and like right now, when Brady was here, it was the Patriots, and then the rest of the AFC East was terrible.
Yeah.
The Bills were horrible. They couldn't, rub 2 nickels together. The Jets had a stint while Brady was here. The Jets had a stint where they were actually good when they had Rex Ryan as their coach.
Yeah. The NFC South is by far the worst division. The Bucks are only 5-5. They're first in their division, and they're at 500.
Right.
So the NFC South is by far the worst of the divisions, and the 2 East divisions are over 500. Are all over 500. That's crazy. So we got next week. Let's talk about next week quick. I'm going to get this episode posted either this evening or Wednesday early. So if you're watching this, if you are watching this before Thursday, the Thanksgiving games, the Bills and the Lions, they'll be on 12:30 CBS. That's going to be a game, I think. The Bills are likely to, win. But being that they're
I wouldn't necessarily. The Bills have been caught with their pants down lately.
Josh Allen.
The Bills have
Josh Allen.
Yeah, the Bills have been exposed, though. I mean, they've been losing games.
I mean, 7-3. Yeah, you're right. They lost 3, but I mean, yes. Could the Lions pull it out? I mean, they're 4-6. Where did the Lions come from at 4-6 after going, 1-5 or whatever it was that you did?
Well, here's the thing.
It's Thanksgiving. They're at Detroit. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. They're at Detroit. Detroit always does play pretty well on Thanksgiving.
And what I like about Detroit right now is I'm looking to see if they're going to get their rookie wide receiver that they spent an extra, I think he was like the number 11 pick in the draft. He was injured last year. And even though he was injured, he got drafted like number 11. And I think this is going to be his first game if he plays in this game. And his name is, well, the only thing I remember about him is Jameson. I'm a whiskey guy, so.
Yeah. Jameson. Yeah, no, I don't know who that is.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So you think about how much scoring Detroit has been doing lately. I mean, their offense is pretty damn good. If they could get a defense put together.
Yeah.
And when you add this kid Jameson in there, who's supposed to be like absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. I think the Bills are going to pull it out, though. That's who my pick would be. I would pick the Bills on that one. You're going with the Lions?
I would say it's a trap game. I would say also that the Bills are coming off a very rough outing. And I mean, Buffalo, maybe it was just that Buffalo got walloped with 6 feet of snow.
Yeah.
And they had to change the location of their home game.
Yeah, that was and players shoveling 12 feet of snow to be able to make it to, where they were having the game. Yeah, I think that had something to do. I would have to say that probably. Now that's not an excuse for them. You even when you have that stuff happen, you still got to show up to play. You still got to try and win. But that's likely had something to do with it. And Detroit is inside a dome, so no weather to speak of. And I think Josh Allen's going to show some stuff in the dome. All right, the Giants. This is probably, except for maybe the third game, but this game is going to be something too. The Giants and the Cowboys, both 7-3. NFC
Giants
East.
Giants are done. They lost their coach. Since they lost their coach, the team is just garbage.
Oh, what happened? I didn't know they lost their coach.
I think he got fired.
He got fired? They're 7-3. The Giants are 7-3, and he got fired.
Who's their coach right now?
I honestly don't know. I'll see if I can take a look at that. So you think the Giants? You talk about the Giants and the Cowboys quick while I look up the head coach. Do you think the Giants are done then? Their season's over?
Oh, 100%. And the Cowboys, since Dak came back, there's nothing stopping that team. They are the last year they were the number one offense with Dak, Zeke, Pollard, and who's the kid? I think it was a rookie receiver last year, CD Lamb.
CD Lamb, yeah,
awesome.
Brian DeBoll is the new head coach. Let me see if I can figure out why did they get rid of the other guy?
But he was saying when he got fired, he was saying, you guys are putting way too much pressure on this kid, Daniel Jones. He was like, Daniel Jones is an absolute fighter. He said, I would take Daniel Jones every day of the week. So he was like trying to tell everybody, don't blame Jones. There's issues on the line. There's issues all over the place on that team.
Ben McAdoo? Is that who is that who it was? Ben McAdoo used to be?
I think so.
McAdoo? I hope they didn't fire him because he had a bad name. Yeah, January 29th, 2022. They hired Brian DeBoll. So it must have been at the end of last year they got rid of their head coach and picked up the new head coach. So Brian DeBoll. And now they're 7-2. So I'd have to say if you made it, that's probably the greatest move the Giants have ever made right there. Because now they're 7-2 and the Cowboys and the Giants would be leading the division if it weren't for the Eagles being 9-1, which who the heck thought that was going to happen? Certainly not me. I did a whole article on Americas Tribune and a whole podcast episode ripping the Eagles where I didn't think that they were going to do it because of what happened with Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz and how I wasn't happy. So,
man, I don't know what the heck I was reading. I thought it was a note on Daniel Jones, but I was
So
wrong.
the last game, NBC, it'll be Thursday Night Football. The Patriots and the Vikings. That's also likely to be a good game. All three games really on Thursday are likely to be a good game. So I'm looking
So
forward
who
to
do we
it.
got? We know Dallas plays. Who's Dallas playing?
It's the first game at 12:30. The first game of the day will be the Bills at the Lions. And then at 4:30, it'll be the Giants at the Cowboys. And then at 8:20, it will be the
Bills and
Patriots.
Cowboys.
Yeah, and then at 8:20, it'll be the Patriots at the Vikings.
That's a big game.
Yeah, all those games are likely to be really good games. So Thanksgiving is going to be a good football day. Turkey and football, that's what my Thanksgivings usually are.
I don't even know who to take in that game. I'm a huge Patriots fan, but Minnesota's tough. You never know what you're going to get. Plus, they got Jefferson out there. He's a scoring machine.
I picked the Bills over the Lions. I'll pick the Cowboys over the Giants, and I will pick. I'd like to pick the Vikings over the Patriots, but I think after they got walloped by the Cowboys last week, I think they're still going to be feeling it on the short week, and I think that gives the Patriots the edge. So I think the Vikings drop 2. I think they dropped their second in a row right here to the Patriots. I think the Patriots can capitalize on the Vikings getting just crushed by the Cowboys. It takes longer than 4 days to get over a 40-3 loss.
Right. Yeah, that is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short. That's what I'm saying. It's
got to be beat up.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I mean, they have playmakers over there. Justin Jefferson, number 2 in yards, receiving.
Yeah, Minnesota has weapons. I just don't think they're gonna be able to recover from that shellacking that Dallas just gave to them.
There's only 3 wide receivers in the NFL right now that are over 1,000 yards receiving. You got Tyreek Hill, you got Stephon Diggs, and you got Justin Jefferson. And with Justin Jefferson being out on the field, as well as Dalvin Cook, that's tough to stop.
Yeah, no doubt.
And granted, the Patriots.
Go ahead.
Patriots got that, number 1 defense going. I don't know how you stop a team that has so many playmakers.
Yeah, they are a strong team. And if it wasn't a short week, if it hadn't just been coming off the shellacking against Dallas, I'd likely pick the Vikings to win over the Patriots. I just don't think 4 days is enough for them to recover from that.
Now think about this. Most people know Jefferson. Most people know Dalvin Cook. Anybody watching this program, I challenge you to name one person on the Patriots offense.
I couldn't, except for the quarterback.
Right, Mac Jones.
And I had to look his name up earlier in the show. Yeah. I mean, I remembered it. I just couldn't place it. I knew what it was. It's just been a long time since I talked about the Patriots because I didn't really address them in the last time we talked about football on Mayhemtainment. So,
but who are his receivers? Who's his tight end?
No, I have no idea.
How about his running backs?
No. But I'm not a Patriots fan, so I don't go out of my way to look for a Patriots game. I'll watch what's on, but I haven't gotten to see much Patriots. Just like I haven't gotten to see a whole lot of Eagles yet, like the way I'd like to either. You know what I mean?
Well, think about this for a minute. Outside of Randy Moss, name a receiver that Tom Brady threw to.
Threw to? Oh, I could name a running back. Daniel Whitehead.
Who is it?
Daniel Whitehead. I think his first name's Daniel. Whitehead is his name. He was one of his backs. Brady's backs.
Are you talking about Burkhead?
Burkhead? No, it was Whitehead.
We had James White.
No. Let me look. I swear it was.
We had Burkhead, who I think is the top running back for Houston.
And I bet if I go look up the names, I'd probably be like, oh yeah, him. But to try and name them right off the top of my head, I don't know that I could.
Tried Burkhead. Most people know James White because he had the big run.
I do know White. I thought it was a Whitehead, but I just looked it up and it looks like there's only one player, and it wasn't. This is not the guy that I thought it was. So maybe I am wrong. I guess so. Maybe it was
Try Burkhead. Burkhead is running in Houston right now, I think. Or no, is it Houston? Might be Houston.
Yeah. All right. So I couldn't probably. Oh, Woodhead, Danny Woodhead.
Oh, Woodhead.
That's what it is. That's what I was thinking of. Danny Woodhead. Thank you. I just kept scrolling.
Yeah, he
here
went to the Chargers. He was actually running over there for a while.
But Danny. So no, I couldn't even name him. But Danny Woodhead, I was close.
Weird that we had Woodhead and then we had Burkhead.
Yeah. That's why I got mixed up with Whitehead, because there was a White, and then it was Woodhead. Okay. So other than Woodhead, and that was the only reason I even remembered him, was because it was a weird kind of name like that. So
Rex Burkhead. That's the other dude that I was thinking of, and he plays for the Houston Texans. Rex Burkhead.
Yeah. The Ravens and the Jaguars, that might be a good game. That should be a good game.
Man, I'll tell you what, I love the Jaguars. And I loved the Jaguars when they had a dual threat at running back.
I like the Jaguars now that they got Doug Peterson as their head coach. I'm a Doug Peterson fan. And Monday night, I don't know who decided this, is the Steelers and the Colts. So Monday Night Football is in trouble. They better start doing a better job of selecting the games on Monday Night Football.
I know, that sounds like a Thursday night game.
Yeah, I know, right? Like they've been doing something weird this season with Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football. They're not giving us some of the great games that we were getting in the last couple of years. Now, you can't always predict what game's going to be good and what game's not going to be good, but you can a little bit by picking.
Well, when they made the schedule, and I know sometimes they swap out the Monday night games. They'll swap out a Monday night game.
They do a Thursday night too, but the teams have to agree to it. It has to be agreed upon.
But that's a pretty terrible Monday night game, dude.
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, that's bad. Playing in prime, two teams who are under 500 playing each other in prime time. I don't really know who made that decision, but all right, sure.
Do you know who the quarterback is for Tennessee? For Pittsburgh.
For Pittsburgh, it's the dude who replaced Big Ben, unless they got rid of him. But I do know his name, but right this second I'm totally drawing a blank on it.
He's got an absolutely phenomenal name. Like, I love his name. It's funny.
Like Dicker the Kicker.
His name, now for a quarterback, this is probably the worst name that you could possibly have, but his last name is Pickett.
Oh, Pickett, yeah. That's right. Kenny Pickett, yeah. Yeah.
Do you know who his big wide receiver is?
No. I am not a Steelers fan.
So he's got a wide receiver in, I think, I don't know if it was Thursday Night Football or Monday Night Football. Maybe it was Sunday Night Football. It was one of the big games. And this kid made a name for himself because he made probably one of the best catches since who's the kid for the Giants there?
Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah. One of the best catches since
OBJ did Beckham. The one-handed.
And his name is Pickens.
Pickens. Pickett and Pickens. Well, that's so
marketable. Pickett drops back, rolls out, throws to Pickens. It's picked.
Yeah. Oh man, please let me see Al Michaels try and do that.
Pickett to Pickens and it's picked, dude.
Yeah. That's going to be something. I hope we get that sound clip. I'm going to get it and use it somewhere. Absolutely. If we ever get it, please let it be Al Michaels.
Right.
So we hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. We're going to bring this episode to a close. Share it out in a day or two before all the football games come on, and leave us a question or comment. Who are you going to pick on Thanksgiving Day? Leave us your picks. You heard our picks, and I'm going to go 3-0 on Thanksgiving Day. I can tell you that. All three of the teams that I picked are winning. So if you didn't pick the teams that I picked, then you're not doing so well.
Real quick before we sign out, who are your teams? Who do you see in the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, are you asking me, or are you asking people to leave a comment?
I'm asking you.
Oh, who do I see?
They can leave a comment too.
Who do I see in the Super Bowl this year? Potentially the Eagles. They're 9-1, so I can't say that they're not gonna make a good run. So the Eagles, and they've been finding a way to win. So yeah, I'd have to go with the Eagles, and I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan, so I'm gonna have to go with the Chiefs too. I think they'll find a way to get it done, but it could be the Ravens. I think it'll be the Eagles against the Chiefs or the Ravens.
Ravens, huh? So of the 4 teams that are in the AFC East that are probably going to wind up in the playoffs, the AFC East doesn't have a chance to go.
The Bills certainly, I think, could potentially have a chance, and I think the Patriots will likely make it to the championship.
I don't think the Patriots are built for that yet. We're missing maybe one piece. We got a great running game. Ramondre Stevenson is our running back, and Damian Harris. We mix him in now, and he's been lightning in a bottle. But for the wide receivers, we don't have that much on the outside.
Yeah, the Dolphins could certainly surprise me, but I would have to
pick
the Bills. I would have to go with the Bills. I don't know if maybe the Dolphins. I mean, they're doing crazy stuff. I don't think the Jets. I don't think
the Dolphins just picked up one of the best players that Chicago had on their defense. And they're trying to shore up their defense because their offense, I mean, you think about it, Tua, over the last 4 weeks, Tua, since he's come back, has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah. How about that? That was a scary moment.
Yeah.
It's not very often you see a quarterback get knocked stiff like a fighter. Like a boxer in the ring or a UFC fighter when they get knocked stiff like that. It's not something you see on the football field.
What happened to his hands?
Yeah,
that's
what happened. He got knocked out cold. It was you've never seen a boxer or a UFC fighter get so knocked out that their body's completely stiff and their hands and their fingers and their feet are all contorted.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened to Tua. He got knocked out. He was literally knocked out stiff, and that's what happened with his hand. That's why his hands were all messed up like that, because he was literally knocked out stiff, just like a fighter would be.
Now, do you remember a few years ago when every team was tanking for Tua? They actually called it tank for Tua. Everybody wanted this kid. He was one of the best quarterbacks in college, and he got injured. And he didn't really get to get a start with Miami. And then now Miami's finally got him out there as their starting quarterback, not playing around with what's his name there? Ryan Fitzpatrick, Beardo.
Yeah. Oh, Fitzpatrick retired now. He's commentating for Sunday Night Sports, actually.
Yeah. But the job is 100% Tua's. And you look at what he's got out there with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, they did do a great job. The Dolphins did an amazing job turning things around and building a very, very strong team this year. They do. I just don't know if Tua is he going to take you all the way to the Super Bowl? I don't know about that. I think it'll be if there's a team in the East, in the AFC East, I think it'll likely be the Bills. And I think it'll likely be the Bills, perhaps the Dolphins, but I think it would likely be the Bills. So the Bills or the Chiefs, maybe the Ravens, and then the Eagles.
As a Patriots fan, looking at the AFC East, the Dolphins are the best team in the AFC East.
Maybe the Vikings. Maybe, yeah. I mean, the NFC is really, except for the Eagles and the Vikings just got crushed. So, yeah, I would have to pick the Eagles from the NFC. The AFC is a little bit tougher. They got a lot of strong teams. The Chiefs, the Titans, the Ravens, the Bills, and the Dolphins. All, really strong teams. They're not, none of them are pushovers. So The AFC, I think, is still a little open. I think the NFC is going to come down to the Eagles.
So think about this for a minute. The Miami Dolphins, right? And I have to go on just a little rant for the Miami Dolphins real quick. Last year and the year before, who was the best running team in football?
I couldn't answer that.
49ers.
The 49ers?
Yeah. Do you know who their running backs were? Who their running
Nope.
back was? Raheem
Nope.
Mostert.
Mostert, yeah.
Was one of the best running backs in football. Do you know where he is now? He plays for the Miami Dolphins. This year, do you know who was tearing it up in San Francisco, one of the best running backs in the league, while he was starting for the 49ers? Jeff Wilson. Miami traded for him. They have two of San Francisco's big dog running backs that San Francisco was pounding the league with last year.
Yeah.
So they have an extreme running game on top of having one of the best college quarterbacks who's now transitioning to becoming one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, who has two of the biggest weapons, both what's his name, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are both in the top 6 for wide receivers. And Tyreek Hill is number 3, arguably number 2, behind Stephon Diggs and Devontae Adams out in Vegas.
Yeah. You're not wrong. I mean, the Dolphins do have a strong team. I don't know if Tua, he's a young guy. I don't know if Tua is going to, if he gets into the Super Bowl, I don't know if he wins.
Well, his age is no different than Josh Allen.
Are you sure? I thought Tua was a little younger than Josh Allen. Tua's only been in the league, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah.
I thought Josh Allen's been around a little bit longer than that.
I think the difference is about a year or so. I think they both played college ball at the same time.
Well, I did say the Bills would go to the Super Bowl. I didn't say necessarily that they'd win.
And Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is even younger than him, isn't he?
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was another guy.
Well, I wasn't making predictions for the Super Bowl though. Just who the teams that would make it, not who would win in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Eagles actually have
this is his third year. This is Tua's third year.
Yeah. How many years has Josh Allen been here?
I'm doing that next.
Right? Or maybe 5 years. I think him and Daniel Jones came out about the same time. Watch you come back. Oh, Josh Allen's been in the league 10 years.
I'm looking this up because I'm fairly certain. Oh, 5. Yeah, so 5 years.
Yeah, so a difference of only about 2 years.
Yeah, 5
and
years.
You look at what Tua's been doing lately.
Year?
Like he has been.
Yeah, this is his 5th year, and this is Tua's 3rd year. And Jalen Hurts is only in his third or fourth year. But yeah,
no, Jalen Hurts a rookie last year?
No, this is at least his 3rd year.
Did he not play his entire first year?
Well, yeah, we had him for a year with Carson Wentz.
And he just sat on the bench?
Well, we had Carson Wentz. He was the starter. Jalen, and he was, well, I mean, we put him in. We were, when you don't play a rookie quarterback, we had a decent enough quarterback. You want to get Jalen Hurts in, get him up to speed, get him some playing time. But yeah, that first year, I don't know. I am not a fan of rookie quarterbacks starting in the NFL. I think they should at least take a year or two to learn and to be under somebody before they actually take the reins. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any rookie quarterbacks that have ever done really well out the gate and brought their team into the playoffs outside of Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow and, well, maybe Michael Vick and Yeah, no, Jalen Hurts 2020 was his first year. So this is his third year too. So him and Tua got drafted in the same year.
No, Patriots had a pretty good rookie quarterback that brought us into the playoffs.
Oh, I have no doubt that a rookie quarterback could get you to the playoffs. I just don't think a rookie quarterback's winning you the playoffs. And I don't know that Jalen Hurts or Tua would be able to win even if they did make it to the Super Bowl. I just think that they're likely to make it to the Super Bowl.
Is there any
the AFC's open
quarterback who has ever made it to the Super Bowl?
The what?
Are there any rookie quarterbacks that have ever made it to the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
Joe Burrow last year.
Oh, was he a rookie quarterback last year?
Yeah, he was a rookie quarterback.
Okay, well then, but he also lost.
Yeah. Well, he had a rookie wide receiver out there too, who was his wide receiver in college.
Yeah, but NFL's not college. Chip Kelly, if you're watching this, that's why you're back coaching college. It's something you didn't figure out in the 2 years you coached the Eagles, you idiot. I'm not a Chip Kelly fan, so. All right, well, we've been going much longer than I anticipated this episode to go for.
Yes.
So if you're still watching, I do appreciate it. Share it out. Leave us a comment. Who do you think is going to make it to the Super Bowl? And who do you think give us your picks for Thanksgiving Day? Check out americastribune.com. They're also on Twitter and on Facebook. And make sure you check out the Boiling Point Podcast, our sister show. They're on Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook. And, of course, Mayhem Media on Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook. Our storefronts are bonfire.com/store/JDEDESIGNz. That's with a Z on the end of it, not an S. And then bonfire.com/store/the Boiling Point Podcasts. Pick out yourself up some apparel and support the podcasts. For David Roos, as I like to call him, he is not a Bolton. I am your host, JD, and that's the end.